29 assists, by far the most. The next closest Demon had 4. That was Kelsey Horvath. So Colleen Smith definitely didn't put up a lot of kills today. Had a few digs, but she was setting everybody up, and they were knocking it down hard for the Blue Demons. Completely different, night and day from last night's game. Not sure if that had to do.
You're listening to ChicagolandSportsRadio.com. It's not just sports, it's a way of life.
Chicagoland Sports Radio Sports Update.
At 6 p.m., I'm Charles Prodigy Ritchie with your ChicagolandSportsRadio.com update, brought to you by the Illinois Media School. In the NBA on Saturday evening, the Chicago Bulls spoiled the debut of new Cleveland Cavaliers head coach Tyronn Lue by defeating the Cavs 96-83. Paul Gasol led the way in this contest with 25 points, followed by Jimmy Butler and Taj Gibson. Also in the NBA on Sunday, the Houston Rockets defeated the Dallas Mavericks in a tough, gritted triple overtime, which saw James Harden had 23 points along with 15 rebounds and 10 assists for a triple-double. In other news, Kobe Bryant finds beef with the AAU basketball, saying, "I hate it because it doesn't teach our players how to play the right way, how to think the game, how to play in combinations of threes." Onto the ice we go, as last night Chicago Blackhawks slapped a 2-game losing streak since Thursday, defeated the St. Louis Blues in a 2-0 shutout. This was Corey Crawford's 7th shutout of the year, which leads all NHL goalies. Artemi Panarin and Andrew Shaw will each collect a goal apiece. The Hawks will be on the road on Tuesday evening in Carolina as they battle the Hurricanes, close out the first half of the season leading into the All-Star break. While the Super Bowl 50 matchup result says it will be the Denver Broncos being the home team taking on the Carolina Panthers, the AFC, which saw the Denver Broncos on to beat the New England Patriots 2018, Val Miller led the way with 2.5 sacks in this game, plus an interception. Manning gets the last laugh as the all-time Brady Manning Bowl series is 11-6. Cam Newton later on the NFC Championship game has 335 yards passing with 2 touchdowns, managed to gain 47 yards rushing. Palmer gets sacked 3 times, has 4 picks on the day. Well, Cain Velasquez had to pull out of the number 1 contender for the heavyweight title at UFC 196 due to a back injury. He has only fought once since October 2013, including UFC 188, where he dropped the belt to Verdum, as well as 3 times in the last 4 years. Well, yesterday, the WWE Royal Rumble took place in Orlando, Florida. We saw the over-the-man tournament. We see a new champion crowned. No longer Roman Reigns. It is now the game Triple H. This has been your ChicagolandSportsRadio.com update, brought to you by the Illinois Media School. For more information, go to BeyondAir.com. I'm Charles the Prodigy Ritchie. Good evening, everybody, and you know what time that means. It is primed up. Welcome, everybody. I got a special guest in studio here who thankfully just joined me. I got Xander Morgan, who's one of the people I co-host with here on Saturdays. Thanks, bud.
Thank you. Thanks for having me, man.
Oh, thank you for coming in here, Professor X.
No problem, man.
Yeah.
Always a pleasure to sit alongside the Prodigy.
He just are in the danger zone, diggity y'all. Well, we got lots of fun going on right now. As everyone knows, the weather's doing a lot better out versus the last couple of weeks, wouldn't you say, so far?
Yeah, except all of a sudden it just started raining. I've been down here since noon, and it was nice when I got off the train, and then I come outside at 5 o'clock, and it's raining. But for the most part, it's been nice.
That's where I remember last week I had to wait outside on around Hyde Park, waiting for almost a half hour for a train to come in where we had to transfer on. And because one of the tracks was having track issues, so we ended up getting home till almost an hour later. But anyway, it sure beats a lot better versus where it was 2 years ago. You know what I'm saying, though?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Well, anyway, like I was just mentioning at the top of the hour, though, we're going to kick things off here with the conference championship games. Right now, Super Bowl 50 is all set. As you all know, it's going to be the Denver Broncos being the home team going up against the Carolina Panthers right now. And it's really going to be I think a fun Super Bowl right here, if you ask me. Though, I mean, you got a top defense going up against a top offense right here. I feel I don't know about you, but I'm gonna go on record right now. It's still too early to tell. I may change my mind later on, but my gut feelings almost tell me it looks like it's gonna be Carolina Panthers taking it. They're just too fast, too strong. Run game, defense, wherever they pick a ball off. I mean, they really just been dominating right now. It's no secret that they're 17-1 right now in the league right now. Usually, a 15-1 team you would think will go on to finish the job right here in this situation. But then again, Peyton Manning right now, I tip my cap off to you, sir. You know what? If you happen to somehow pull this off, though, it's I guess you could think of it if you're going gambling or something. No, it's you're on the boat, so putting that final coin into the slot machine right there. Yeah, I mean, you just pull that lever down and you just finally hit the jackpot, though. But I mean, just to even be in it 4 times altogether, and whether he wins this or loses, you know what? He's got nothing to be ashamed of. If anything, I put him more so in a boat, let's say Brett Favre, Kurt Warner. But however, if he does win this, I don't know about you guys, though, I probably have to say all-time great quarterbacks I was mentioning on the show Saturday, had to kind of reshuffle that list, and here's how it would stand. I would say, number 1, you have to still go with Joe Montana, since he's never lost a Super Bowl, 4-0 right there. I would say number 2, Terry Bradshaw, since the Pittsburgh Steelers were the only team in NFL history in the Super Bowl era to win back-to-back titles on 2 separate occasions, even though the defenses were hard as heck as it was back then. I would, believe it or not, I would put Peyton Manning number 3, and the only reason why I would say number 3, though, he'd be the first quarterback ever to win 2 multiple Super Bowl titles with 2 different teams. Remember, him and Kurt Warner are the only 2 players so far in my mind that I know took 2 different teams to the Super Bowl right there. And I think that'd just be a lot of honor right there. And then I have to say, followed by Troy Aikman, then John Elway right there. I would put Tom Brady on there, but again, though, it's just so many question marks right now. I don't know. I probably put him in a tie with number 5 with John Elway right now. It's just unfortunate it has to be marked with an asterisk. I think they're a great team, though, but it's just too much question marks right there going on right now.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's a solid list. I gotta say, just kind of going back to you talking about the Super Bowl and who's the better team, as far as you kind of get the feeling that the Panthers are the more well-rounded team. They're more they've got the offensive line, the defense, with Luke Kuechly and Josh Norman owning it, but you've got Father Time and Peyton Manning, and this might be his last chance. So I'm pulling for old man Manning. I really want the Broncos, even though I'm not a Denver fan at all in the slightest. I actually like Cam Newton and the Panthers, but that's a team that can sustain success moving forward. I want to see Peyton go out a champion because I think it's about time. Peyton, he's had the chances to win it a couple times since his victory in 2006 against the Bears.
The only thing that just gets me rubbed the wrong way when I hear people criticize this guy, I mean, I've been one of his critics too. I think, unfortunately, at the end of the day, I mean, you probably look at him similar to Dan Marino, not really in the sense, though, but this is a guy who should have probably had more rings on his finger, though. I mean, clearly, I think the very closest one he came, though, besides the last one he was in 2009, 2010 against New Orleans Saints in Miami right there. I think I remember they started that off. They were up by as many as 14 points in that contest at one point. Started closing it down, I think, won 8 points right there. Then came the onside kick, by Sean Payton with the New Orleans Saints, kick off the half right there. And then you saw the Saints bring Peyton Manning back down to earth where he was when he used to struggle in his playoff games. Started exposing him on the turnovers right there. Started to, pull away from it, in which they did right there. And I think, that was probably, the last closest one he's came to.
So, looking at this game, though, looking at this matchup right now, what do you think Peyton Manning's biggest obstacle is going to be in this game?
I think his biggest obstacle is going to have to probably be probably the pass rush, I probably have to say, though, with Carolina right there. I mean, right now, if Peyton Manning could do this, so this is why I believe it's going to be the keys of Broncos' victory. If they do win this thing, bless you.
Thank you.
No problem. But anyway, by the way, I truly believe the keys are going to be in this game, though. He's going to have to continue doing what he's done in the last 2 playoff games, not turn the ball over. If you notice, he's had 2 clean interception-free games, just like Ben Roethlisberger did, even though he lost. I mean, still, like, that's a good formula to start off with there. I don't care what anyone says right there. But on defense, the Broncos, they're going to have to, put their run game to the test right now. They got a pretty good ranked run defense. I think number 3 or number 1 in the league right now. And but the Carolina Panthers got, a top 3 or top number 1, top 3 rushing offense, I believe, somewhere in that category, somewhere in the top 5. And, you really got to stop the running back and Cam Newton right now. I mean, you got to really try and corner him, but you also got to watch out for dropbacks, too, with Greg Olsen, their wide receivers too. But if you can create pressure on them, beat their offensive line, try and find a way to chase this guy, I think this is where you give the Broncos a legitimate shot. But at the same time, take care of the ball right now.
Yeah, I agree. We're taking a look back at the game against the Patriots. Peyton Manning went 17 for 32, only 176 yards, but 2 big touchdowns. So, yeah, it's going to be a little tougher defense, though, than the Patriots secondary.
What did you think, though? You think that, missed extra point earlier on in the game, though? You think that was definitely a huge thing that been in the you-know-what, yesterday? Though?
It was absolutely the difference maker. I mean, Gostkowski hadn't missed an extra point all year long, and then when he missed that one, you kind of got that feeling it could come down to this. And
or they had to go for the 2, yeah.
And unfortunately it did, so...
I'll be honest with you, just watching that game and watching parts of it. I was with family, celebrating some birthdays for my cousins of mine. Happy birthday, belated birthday to my cousin's son Jackson and my other cousin's daughter Georgia. Happy belated birthday, guys. I was watching that game yesterday, and I was seeing that, and I truly believe their pass rush was a big difference in there. I mean, Devon Miller ate up 2.5 out of 4 of those sacks yesterday right there, plus an interception. That guy was a human warrior right there on the field right there, just doing it. I think that just made a difference. And here's another key thing that really hurt the Patriots in that game, though. The Patriots lost the running attack versus the Broncos. I think their leading rusher was Tom Brady with 12, 13 yards, and your running back only had 12 yards, though. I think Hillman was and Anderson were the guys. One of those guys had around over 75, 76 yards.
Yeah, Anderson had 72 yards and Hillman had 16.
Yeah, so I really believe that was the difference right there. The running game, they were able to get that going, And
Hillman couldn't really get it going, but Anderson could. He was running at 4.5 yards a clip. So yeah, absolutely. No, I totally agree.
No, but then anyway. I'll tell you what, though, the last game of the evening, though, too, as we dip into this, so Carolina Panthers hosting the Arizona Cardinals, that was a blowout fashion right there.
It's what we're used to seeing from Carolina as of late. I mean,
sure, man, believe that red, didn't they?
You almost get that feeling going into the Super Bowl that they'll continue that high offense trend. I mean, Cam Newton, there's no end in sight for him.
Nah, and then, now that I think the coolest thing in the world, though, too, I mean, watching as a fan, though, see, our former, anyone that lived in Chicago and enjoyed those great Bulls championships, or anyone just being a Jordan fan or a Bulls fan, though, Michael Jordan, though, giving him all the advice right there. And I quote Jordan, one of the things he was talking about, you got to avoid trying, put some of the burden, how much you can handle, too much of a load right there. There's only so much you could do right there, and I think he's got a point there. But, I mean, just still awesome. What from arguably the greatest, basketball athlete of all time, though, just looking over his shoulder. I think that's unbelievably freaking awesome right there.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, wow. I'm hoping it's not going to be a blowout, though. But, man, like I said, I think I'll theme this one, who wears jeans in the family in this game, since it's going to be in Levi Stadium, right?
Yeah. I don't think it's going to be a blowout either. I just think
I hope not.
I hope it's just a really good game to watch.
Well, I tell you one thing, keep an eye out too. If you believe in any karma or little exorcisms, though, I'm sure you kind of know where I'm going with this on Denver. What do you think the Denver fans want to see them do?
What's that?
Win the Super Bowl with the Orange Crush uniforms, the orange jerseys.
Yeah.
How about that? You got an opportunity, though. You only won it, one time with the blue and the all-white when you're the road team back in 1999 versus the Falcons.
Yeah, that's true.
I think if you could win that, you'd be exercising a lot of demons right there.
Real quick before we hit that break, do you think that the L.A. Rams, I know this is kind of off-season talk and we're in the middle of the playoffs, but do you think the L.A. Rams should go back to their old jerseys while we're on the subject of old jerseys?
It depends. I mean,
You don't like the old powder blue and the goldenrod?
I think the blue and the yellow was good, though. I think it was decent right there. But I think the colors they got right now is like decent. But at the same time, I think they got to rebuild their old identity once again.
Right.
Though I mean, here's the thing you got to remember with LA. I mean, it's like a ridiculous mess right now. You got San Diego Chargers still debating if they're going to go over and join the Rams right now. And get this, though, once we come back from this break, I'll try to mention this later on if we have time, though, but the Raiders, of all places, if the San Diego moves L.A., they're considering going to San Diego. The San Diego Raiders, you freaking kidding me?
The Chargers don't even want to be in San Diego, so I don't think we'll have to worry about the Raiders.
Well, we'll see who's large and in charge right there. Anyway, we're getting ready to take this commercial break, though. You're listening to the Primed Up, though, here on ChicagolandSportsRadio.com. Thank you all for listening. We'll be right back at these messages.
Radio or TV broadcasting at the Illinois Media School's downtown Chicago campus. Call us at 312-884-8000 or visit 530 South State Street to learn how you can make your dreams of being on television and radio a reality. Don't take my word for it. Check out what some industry professionals said about the Illinois Media School.
Jason Cage, B96.
If you want to do what we do, you want to get backstage to concerts, you want to sit behind a microphone, do your own show, maybe work behind the scenes, meet cool people, get free tickets to pretty much everything you can think of. Get all the fun perks that come along with being in the radio, TV, and sports broadcasting industry. It's a 1-year course, all hands-on training. Get the leg up on the competition. They're going to get you set up and get you the skills that you'll need to jump right out of the door, right behind a microphone, doing your own show. Get the tour set up. They're enrolling right now. Don't wait. BeOnAir.com/CAGE. Hire me one day.
It's officially a new year, and the Chicago Bears season is officially over. But on the bright side of things, the Chicago Bulls and the Chicago Blackhawks seasons are in full swings as both teams look to pile on the W's before heading into All-Star break. Tune in to Game Time Sports every Tuesday from 4 to 6 p.m. as we recap the Chicago Bears season and what to look forward to out of them for next year. Also, we'll be sure to keep you up to date on all things Chicago Bulls and Blackhawks only on ChicagolandSportsRadio.com.
2016 is here, and the Sid Next Show made it our New Year's resolution to bring you the most entertaining sports show that Saturday has to offer. With the NFL playoffs underway, we'll have guests from various playoff team cities to discuss football, and as always, have a laugh or two along the way. Whether it's Charles hitting us with his random impressions, or taking a step into the wild mind that's Sidney Brown, I, Xander Morgan, plan to keep my resolution as long as Chicago keeps tuning in every Saturday from 2 to 4 p.m. on ChicagolandSportsRadio.com.
Sean Lane here with a Fight League report. We are in 2016 and the hits keep coming with UFC on Fox, January 23rd. UFC 196, Werdum vs. Kane in a grudge rematch on February 6th. And UFC London, Silva vs. Bisping on February 27th on UFC Fight Pass. Exclusive interviews and more. Keep it to the Fight League report. Tuesday at 12 p.m. only on ChicagolandSportsRadio.com.
Silva! The Spider is back!
This past week on Across the Board, this whole thing with Nashville trying to keep Blackhawks fans out has reached an all-time level of craziness. If I'm David Poyle, I'm getting pretty pissed off with ownership. That's not good for business.
Why would you not want that revenue coming towards you?
That's what I'm saying. Everybody's money is green.
What does it matter who's sitting next to you? Have you ever sat next to a fan of a different team at your home stadium? It's fun. All comes back to money. Who cares?
It does.
You're paying for a ticket? Fine.
Join TJ, Xander, and Hannah every Thursday, 2 to 4 p.m. on ChicagolandSportsRadio.com.
Last time on the Bob Blob Show.
The Bulls were down 24.
They were.
How the hell were the Bulls down 24 to the Philadelphia 76? Start with Steph Curry.
Number 2, LeBron James. Number 3, Russell Westbrook. Number 4, Kawhi Leonard. And number 5, Kevin Durant. I'm a single black dude that need a woman.
That you are, Sad. That you are, man.
Cedric Farrell, a.k.a. Bob Blob, with the Bob Blob Show, which airs on Fridays from 4 to 5 p.m. on ChicagolandSportsRadio.com.
Nothing moves the blob.
Some sports talk shows are factual, intellectual, pressing with knowledge and expert opinion. You're not going to get that here on the mic.
What do you mean, Mike? I thought you were an expert.
No, that's why we're listening to an Irish folk song in the background while making this promo. We only dream of being champions.
Kind of like Conor McGregor, who walked out to this song, right?
Kind of like the champions we'll talk about all the time. NBA, NHL, UFC, NFL, all that and more right here every Wednesday, 6 to 9 p.m. And there's only one place to hear us, ChicagolandSportsRadio.com.
Time to kick off your career in radio or TV broadcasting at the Illinois Media School's downtown Chicago campus. Call us at 312-884-8000 or visit 530 South State Street to learn how you can make your dreams of being on television and radio a reality. Don't take my word for it. Check out what some industry professionals said about the Illinois Media School.
Jonathan Hood, ESPN 1000.
People often ask me, Hoodie, how can I be a sports radio guy like you? I tell them it takes drive and determination, and you need to learn how it all works. You can learn to be a sports talk show host, a producer, do play-by-play, and shoot and edit video. You'll have a chance to get internships at stations where you can tap into the knowledge of industry pros. With job placement assistance, you can start your new career in 1 year. It's a great school to get the hands-on training you need for a broadcasting career, doing what you love. They have affordable tuition and financial aid for those who qualify. So don't waste another minute. Go to beonair.com/Chicago Sports. That's beonair.com/Chicago Sports.
Welcome back to Primed Up here, the show that keeps you primed and on time. I'm Charles the Prodigy Richie with Xander Morgan.
Yo!
Thank you again for coming on tonight.
Hey, no problem, buddy. Who are about to get on the line here?
Well, we're actually got a guest show. He's a Pittsburgh beat writer who's supposed to be calling in here about a minute now. His name is Jacob Klinger. He's a Pittsburgh beat writer. Actually, just met this guy about a week ago. We just chatted for email. So we're going to be talking some Steelers offseason moves. See if we get a quick reaction from the AFC-NFC Championship game. And then a quick prediction from Super Bowl 50. So, like I said, the number, if anyone wishes to call in too, for anyone that's free to welcome in here, our number is 312-564-7375.
Where can they find you, Charles?
Well, they can find me at Hitman083, that's 083, all caps. And then at Instagram, you can find me at 08Prodigy09, all caps. Facebook, Charles John Ritchie, R-I-C-H-E-Y. And then also, from time to time, charlestheprodigyritchie.wordpress.com. Yeah, so...
Are you ready to go? All right, just a second. Hit answer.
Okay, I think we got Jacob Klinger on the line. Jacob, are you there?
I am.
Hey, Jacob, welcome to Primed Up, man. Nice that you can make it on here. Thank you so much for sparing a little bit of your time. How are you?
I'm happy to do it, and, I'm well. Sports writers enjoy the off-season, too.
Oh, I know. Just the only thing is, just right now, if any football fan or sports fan right now, Alex, I'm sure you could relate, though, whenever your team goes down, it's nothing forward looking to that free agency market right there, or especially NFL, the draft right now.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Myself as a Packers fan, it's quite upsetting to see my team go down, and I'm sure the Steelers fans feel the same way. We have Jacob Klinger on the line. He's a beat reporter for the Steelers. You can find him on Twitter at Jacob_Klinger_. Jacob, thanks for joining us today. What is going on in Pittsburgh, and after the loss that they just had, are there any changes that are in motion?
Not major ones, really. They've just been doing some housekeeping items. They re-signed Ross Cockrell, who was the cornerback that got off the Buffalo Bills scrap heap earlier this year, and he became a regular for them. They re-signed him. They re-signed 9 of their 10 practice squad players, futures contracts. They brought in this one quarterback, a Division II guy, in addition to a wide receiver out of Baylor, who, again, they signed futures contracts, but really, you're looking at Levi Norwood. He was the receiver out of Baylor, and Dustin Vaughn is the quarterback. It's actually his third year out of college. He's a Division II guy out of West Texas A&M. But he's interesting in that he's 6'5", 240 pounds, probably just an off-season guy. But Mike Tomlin has very much left the backup quarterback situation open in terms of Landry Jones, and he'll be here next year. But Bruce Gostkowski and Michael Vick are both free agents, and neither have done anything too stunning in a Steelers uniform. So if there's any shakeups along the way, immediately those are probably the earliest rumblings. As far as, where this offseason is really going to be shaped and defined by, it's as ever in the secondary. William Gay is a free agent, Brandon Boykin is a free agent, Antoine Blake is a free agent. They did re-sign Ross Cockrell. Allen is a free agent. You're talking about...
And Robert Golden, I think, is another one, too.
What's that?
I think Robert Golden's supposed to be another one, too, though, who's getting up there in age and supposed to be like a free agent. I was reading.
Yeah, I mean, he's right in his prime. He's due for... If he's going to get paid, it's going to be sooner rather than later, and maybe they try to take a chance on him being the guy at strong safety and let Will Allen go. I don't think so. I think Will Allen gets another one-year deal or something like that. But the point is, yeah, I mean, the secondary could look totally different, a few months from now. But I think those are where the biggest moves are going to happen.
Yeah.
Everything else is pretty solidified. Darius Hayward-Bay, I don't know if he comes back. He's a free agent. But if not, I think they're pretty comfortable with Sammy Coates there and a couple other guys down the roster. So
let me ask you
really secondary as ever.
Let me ask you a question, Jacob, real quick. I was reading earlier today and a little bit over the weekend right now. Steelers think because they're one of their biggest issues they're going to be needing help at is safety. And right now you have Mike Mitchell, who had like a phenomenal year, like as far as playing like a little bit of like a cornerback position. I think one of the things that impressed the Steelers' defense most was their red zone scoring defense. I think they were ranked 7th in that league right there. And they truly believe right now they could find the answer in-house right there. And I think they're looking at Doran Grant, and only because, like I mentioned...
Safety, you think?
Robert Golden's supposed to be like a free agent, and then Shamarko Thomas is still struggling to learn the defense. You know, and then you got one guy up in age, I forget his name though, but
Will Allen?
Will Allen, yep. What do you think about that right there? I mean, Doran Grant right there. I think this is one of the guys they drafted this past year, correct?
Well, yeah, they took him in the 4th round out of Ohio State. But you know what they did, though, is they cut him in the final round of cuts. And everybody else took a pass on him, so they signed him back to the practice squad. And then I think Mike Tomlin termed it a housekeeping item when they promoted him to the active roster. But it's not like they were terribly high on him. If there's going to be a solution out of recent draft picks in the secondary, it's probably going to be Senquez Golson at cornerback. He's a little undersized, but I believe he was 2nd in the NCAA his last year in college at Ole Miss in interceptions. He was just out for the season. They put him on the PUP list right in training camp with a shoulder injury that he picked up working out. And, he's a real, impact guy that they didn't really get a chance to take a look at this year. But Mike Tomlin said that he expects him to play like a second-year player, having been around the facility for the whole season. So, that's your light right now. Like you said, at the beginning of the season, Mike Tomlin was asked why Shamarko Thomas wasn't starting, because he had been, top of the depth chart through preseason. And he said, it was a matter of communication, but also above the neck. Basically, mentally he needs to do better. And I asked him about it at the end of the season, and he said, more or less the same. He's a good special teams player, and it just hasn't come together for him yet. And we're looking at year 4, so I wouldn't anticipate a real hefty second contract with the Steelers, maybe at all, unless he has a real breakout year this year. So they have a lot of options, and it's not the kind of decisions you're necessarily happy to be making. I mean, the only really good off-season depth chart battle they've got going is a kicker. So,
well, that's not very promising. But
at least we found out what Boswell could do, though, and even if Squeezum does come back healthy, though, I mean, at least kind of got like a little bit like having a backup insurance just in case. So Mike Thomas said he likes the idea. If it comes down to it, you got 2 kickers ready to go right there. But anyway, real quickly, because we're getting ready to wind up to a close, we're like about a little over 2 minutes left. I just wonder if you wouldn't mind like jumping in like Super Bowl 50 coming up right now. Any reactions from like the Broncos-Patriots game and Cardinals Panthers yesterday, and who you got winning it right now, since we are like wrapping up the official NFL season in less than 2 weeks now?
Yeah, it didn't shock me that the Panthers won, but I thought they'd stop scoring at some point, which, I guess the game did end. But, I really think there's been such a hesitance to give the Carolina Panthers their due that, unless Camden and those guys really stumble or run into some injury trouble, I like them over the Broncos. I think it'll be close. I think you're looking at, kind of like a 26-20 type of game. Not too high scoring, but they're going to put points up there. And, it's unfortunate. I think I saw someone joking about it on Twitter. Like, it's great Peyton Manning got to get to the Super Bowl. It's sad that the Carolina Panthers defense is probably going to end his career. And I think that's about right.
he's getting up there, and it's quite possible that he doesn't finish this game. But you're listening to
I think he'll finish the game. I think that'll be it. I don't think he's gonna get to ride off in the sunset like Elway or any of those guys.
Yeah, as unfortunate as it is.
You got one over on Brady, so
that is true right there. But you know what? At the end of the day, like I was saying earlier in the program, you know what? He's got nothing to be ashamed of. He's done everything a quarterback's supposed to do. Should have just won more. Actually, we got about another 10 more seconds before we head to our sports break.
Jacob, you redefined the position.
Yeah. Hey, Jacob, real quick, can you remind the folks where everybody could find you on social media real quick before we end off?
Yeah, I'm at Jacob_Klinger_. And just to be clear, I write for the Patriot News and 10live.com. 10 Live with 2 N's, as in the state of Pennsylvania, where I live.
Jacob, thank you very much. Anyway, folks, we got to go take this sports update. You're listening to Primed Up here. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Jake.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Chicagoland Sports Radio Sports Update.
At 6:30 p.m., I'm Charles Prodigy Ritchie with your Chicagoland SportsRadio.com update, brought to you by the Illinois Media School. Well, it was NFC and AFC Championship game taking place yesterday, which saw kick things off with the Denver Broncos holding on to beat the New England Patriots 20-18. A huge Steve Gostowski extra point kick earlier in the game, though, when it was down 7-6, could have tied up 7-7. Actually had to make the Patriots work when they actually got the final touchdown and under 30 seconds left to go. Had to score for 2 points. He feels that he lost the game for that team right there, but Von Miller was a beast in this game as he picks up 2.5 sacks. 4 sacks contributed to the defense and a takeaway. Later on in the evening, we saw the Carolina Panthers blow out the Arizona Cardinals 49-15 right there. And on the day, though, Cam Newton had 335 yards passing with 2 touchdowns, manages to gain 47 yards rushing. Palmer gets sacked 3 times and has a miserable day with 4 picks on the day. Also, on Saturday night, we saw the Chicago Bulls upset the debut of Tyronn Lue, the Cleveland Cavaliers. They get a victory on the road, 96-83. Paul Gasol led the way in this contest with 25 points, followed by Jimmy Butler and Taj Gibson. Also in the NBA on Sunday, Houston Rockets pull out a win in triple overtime over the Dallas Mavericks. And then later on, the Chicago Blackhawks go on to shut out the St. Louis Blues. Corey Crawford has a record 7 shutout for the season, which leads all goalies. This has been your ChicagolandSportsRadio.com update, brought to you by the Illinois Media School. For more information, go to BeyondAir.com. I'm Charles the Prodigy Ritchie. Welcome back to Primed Up. I'm Charles the Prodigy Ritchie, joined once again here by Xander Morgan here, who also co-hosts on the Sid and X Show on Saturdays from 2 to 4. You can check them out. If you guys any of you folks want to listen to us here at ChicagolandSportsRadio.com, you can go download the TuneIn Radio app, where it be on Google Play or the Apple Store. And once you open that up, just search for Chicagoland. That's one word, Sports Radio. It'll pop up. You'll see like the little Chicago police-style type flag banner right there with the 3 stars, and that's where you can find us right there, streaming right there. And I always like to say with them, though, with these 2 guys on Saturday, we're triple teaming and streaming right there.
Yeah, if you missed our show on Saturday, we had some great guests come on to talk about the AFC and NFC championship games. So if you want to check it out, I actually just uploaded our last episode on Spreaker today, commercial free. So check it out. Search for the Sid and X Show on Spreaker.com.
Well, speaking of check it out, though, I'm sure Triple H is going to have some bragging rights as we go into Monday Night Raw real quick, though.
I'll tell you what, I'm sorry. That Royal Rumble, that was one of the best Royal Rumbles I think I've ever seen.
No offense, so I mean, I get it though that he's part of the euphoria deal. His old man Vince McMahon did it though. Love Vince, so you can never be ashamed of having him around though. But you gotta stay out of this Triple H though. No offense, but you know what? But you know what? I'm really trying to wonder if they're trying to help build up WrestleMania 32 because remember John Cena had some shoulder surgery right there. You don't know if there's question marks. He's going to be able to appear in the event at Mania. If he does make it in time, though, they're looking for The Undertaker's opponent to be John Cena right there. And, with them being in Dallas, Texas, I'm really starting to get a little concerned, though. Will they not see a possibility of breaking this stadium record since the Pontiac Silverdome at WrestleMania 3? 1987 was around 93,000 plus. Wow. But anyway, folks, so we got to take this commercial break right here. Before we step away, we'll come back here on Primed Up on ChicagoLandSportsRadio.com.
I'm very grateful for all the knowledge I received at the Illinois Media School. My 15-year career in radio has been a dream come true. I'm a radio DJ, I'm on the air, and I get to be a program director for 2 radio stations in Wisconsin. My dream became a reality with the Illinois Media School. Illinois Media School is a great school with great teachers and former students now working in the industry today on the radio stations you listen to and on the TV stations you watch every day. Illinois Media School, check it out. For more details, beonair.com.
I couldn't have said it better myself. This is Jonathan Hood, instructor at the Illinois Media School, formerly Illinois Center for Broadcasting. So many reasons for you to consider Illinois Media School: financial aid for those who qualify, real-world hands-on experience, internships, and so much more. Don't just take my word for it. Set up a tour at one of the 2 Chicagoland locations. Go to beonair.com/Chicago Sports to learn more. That's beonair.com/Chicago Sports.
The Chicago Bulls come into the 2016 year looking to make a splash.
Nico, out there the time lock. Oh, stop it, Nico Mirotic. They get it to Powell, lob, Jimmy. Game time! What a pass!
So you know Chuck and Craig's excited to see what C-Red Nation has in store for us. So make sure you tune in to Chuck and Prez every Wednesday 3 to 5, only on ChicagoLandSportsRadio.com.
Some sports talk shows are factual, intellectual, pressing with knowledge and expert opinion. You're not going to get that here on the mic.
What do you mean, Mike? I thought you were an expert.
No, that's why we're listening to an Irish folk song in the background while making this promo. We only dream of being champions.
Kind of like Conor McGregor, who walked out to this song, right?
Kind of like the champions we'll talk about all the time. NBA, NHL, UFC, NFL, all that and more right here every Wednesday, 6 to 9 p.m. And there's only one place to hear us, ChicagoLandSportsRadio.com.
Last time on the Fies and Plumey Show.
I did save a woman's life in the L.
Fresh cut grass, gasoline, and fresh paint. God, I love those smells.
She tripped and was falling down the stairs, and I stuck my arm out and caught her.
Wow, Joe.
You can't fault a man for getting the yips.
Now, this is going to sound biased. A less chunky Eddie Lacy.
The other part of the story that he's not telling you is that he pushed her, too. He's got some crazy hair.
The Fies and Plumey Show, Tuesdays and Thursdays from 6 to 8 p.m. on ChicagoLandSportsRadio.com.
The weather is cold and snowy, but no worries. We'll keep you warm here on Second City Sports as we tell you the Bulls and Hawks can keep it going as they reach the midway point of their seasons. The NFL playoffs are in high gear, college hoop season is revving up, and the Cubs and White Sox get ready for spring training, and a whole lot more. We'll also have great guests from all over to talk about it. So come join the fun with me, Lakina McGee, for Second City Sports, Thursdays noon to 2, only on ChicagoLandSportsRadio.com.
My whole life, from the beginning, I said I wanted to stay here and play here. My whole life, I've been a winner, so that's not going to change.
Can Derrick Rose right the ship for the Bulls as they head into midseason? Evan Mack here. The brothers Reed and I have taken our talents to 12 to 3 p.m. on Mondays on ChicagoLandSportsRadio.com. Different time slots, same great interviews, analysis, and drops you love.
It's a Victory Monday, and I'm on Mack and Reed. I mean, I'm excited.
Mack and Reed, 12 to 3 p.m. on Mondays, only on ChicagoLandSportsRadio.com.
What else?
You seen Big?
I don't know.
You never seen Big?
No, not Big.
Let's get ready to rumble!
It's 2016, and it's time for the Rumble season. Join Josh Lopez every single Wednesdays from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Central as I provide the best coverage leading towards the Royal Rumble. Also talk about TNA's debut on Pod TV and Season 2 of Lucha Underground. That and much more on the Pro Wrestling Experience on ChicagolandSportsRadio.com.
Time to kick off your career in radio or TV broadcasting at the Illinois Media School's downtown Chicago campus. Call us at 312-884-8000 or visit 530 South State Street to learn how you can make your dreams of being on television and radio a reality. Don't take my word for it. Check out what some industry professionals said about the Illinois Media School.
Tom Waddle, ESPN 1000.
Don't waste another minute in a career you don't love. You can be the next great announcer, DJ, producer, or TV reporter. You'll learn key skills from industry pros while working with professional equipment on air and behind the scenes. Still need to keep the 9-to-5 job? Their flexible class schedules can work around any schedule. Short on cash? They have very affordable tuition and financial aid for those who qualify. You'll have access to amazing internships and job placement assistance when you graduate at top radio and TV stations like ESPN. Learn more at beonair.com/Chicago Sports. That's beonair.com/Chicago Sports.
Are you ready? Oh, yeah. Only fitting, though, right there. We get in the role of MMA right here to finish off this segment right here. A lot of interesting stuff going on right now. I don't know if you got a chance to check out Saturday Night Live at all, Alex, so I didn't.
No, I did not. Saturday night was very eventful for me, so I didn't get the chance.
Well, if in case like any of you people missed, though, Ronda Rousey actually was on Saturday Night Live. She was actually the main guest this time, the main celebrity. Actually goes out of her way to actually congratulate Holly Holm right there after her loss to her in like November at the UFC pay-per-view where she got knocked out brutally right now. But anyway, speaking of which, like you know, we got like Maisha Tate, who's supposed to be the next opponent right now, going against Holly Holm. The winner of that match usually I think should get like Ronda Rousey right there. Ronda Rousey definitely stated that she wants to have like to fight Holly Holm again like this year for the women's bantamweight championship, and yeah, should be some good stuff right there. But right now the biggest news over this weekend, it was just announced yesterday, Cain Velasquez, who's been like the heavyweight champion for the UFC since last year in June that his reign ended. He's actually a two-time heavyweight champion in the heavyweight division. He lost to Fabricio Verdum at UFC 188 in the third round with a guillotine choke. And in case, Alex, I know I mentioned to you a while ago, but said I didn't watch a little bit of MMA, but imagine someone just like putting you like in a deep like headlock, for like a chokehold right there.
No thanks.
Yeah.
I think I'm good.
Yeah. Well, anyway, he actually got stopped in about like 3 minutes of this fight. Just give you a quick rundown of this guy's history right here. His first heavyweight title run was back in 2010 where he beat Brock Lesnar, who's now in the world of WWE. He's on cloud nine. You can tell right now where he's at, going where the money's at, especially in entertainment when you got Vince McMahon backing you up. But anyway, Cain Velasquez actually beat him for the title, and then he got sidelined with an injury. He was out for like about a year. Actually comes back to defend his first heavyweight title defense against Junior Dos Santos, which he loses in less than a minute in the first round on the very first ever UFC on Fox event. And it was just one fight that night, and he ends up losing it in like under a minute with a knockout punch. So anyway, he comes back. He gets back to the number one contender status. This time he defeats Junior Dos Santos in the rematch. So he's once again like the UFC heavyweight champion by the conclusion of the 2012 year, going into New Year's. And then later on in October 2013, he has a trilogy match with Junior Dos Santos, and which he beats him. I think like at around like the fourth or fifth round, somewhere around there. He stopped him, retains his belt, but then shortly after that, troubles ran into him right there, injury-wise, we should say. Shoulder injury, though, where he had to have like a couple of surgeries along the way. He was out for like almost like 2 years right there. And one of the things the UFC was trying to do with this guy, they were trying to like get like a pay-per-view in Mexico over there. You know, him I don't know if you ever saw this guy's tattoo, but he's got a thing on there called Brown Pride, though. Sure, it's got to mean deep to a lot of the Hispanic people out there right there. You know, he ends up, when they, finally, like, waiting for him, like, to heal up and stuff, they have an interim heavyweight championship title. So Fabricio Werdum wins the heavyweight championship as an interim champion. And then around June of this past year, in 2015, beats Velasquez, like I said, with a guillotine choke in, like, about the third round right there. So right now, the latest thing that's going on with Cain Velasquez was that he had, like, a back injury, though. He was, like, looking at his doctor right now, and if this is something he didn't get attention on now, it's going to have, like, long-term ramification right there. You know, I know we talk about, like, how NFL, they have the concussions and stuff, though. I mean, we still got boxing right there. You know, I mean, hockey once in a while, too. I mean, like, when you, like, get crashed into the board or hurt your shoulder, though. Any, like, thoughts or concerns you enter your mind, like, as a parent, though? I know NFL gets the brunt of this, so... But why has MMA, like, in the world, like, gain this much attention, or, like, wrestling, though? I mean, I hate to say it, though, because don't forget, wrestling, I think, is, like, finally been pulled from, like, the Olympics, like, a few years back, though, which was controversial right there. What are your thoughts on it right now? I mean, like, as we're trying to, like, do, like, safer sports and stuff, though.
Well, as far as hockey goes, you can't really compare it to football because the hits in football are more conducive to head injury than the ones in hockey. Like, you tend more... I mean, in football, you're tackling someone else, and a lot of the time you're leading with your head. Even though you're not supposed to, it's just a natural reaction. Whereas in hockey, you're more or less going for the body. Yeah. And there are, some bad plays where, head injury occurs, but in football... I would say that's more likely the case than in hockey. However, when it comes to boxing and MMA and all that, these are repeated blows to the head that are just, I don't know. I don't want to say that they're unnecessary because that's the entire point of fighting. That's the entire point of fighting, trying to incapacitate your opponent. But
I'm just talking about the rate of injury is what I'm trying to say, though.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know. It's barbaric. I don't really care for MMA or boxing because of that. I just think it's kind of stupid, but I understand why, it brings a lot of ratings to, the whole entertainment genre, and I understand that. But as far as bringing it to light and the future of these sports goes, I mean, as far as football is concerned, I think that this whole... being worried about having my child playing this sport is going to have a big effect down the line as far as, talent goes. Like, how many kids now aren't going to be playing football, so then in 20 years from now, the talent pool has just shrunk. You know what I'm saying?
I think that's just a little bit ridiculous right there. I mean, no offense, though. I mean, I understand, though, but at the same time, you got to remember, though, too, when you're a kid, though, and you're a parent right there, and when you sign them up for, like, sports, so wanting to, like, participate, be active, you still got to remember, though, too, it boils down to this. Fundamentals, number one, though. Fundamentals, sportsmanship, technique. I mean, don't get me wrong. Do accidents happen? Yes. But, I mean, you know what? I mean, at the same time, though, too, you got to learn the difference right there. And I think it just gets a little bit of a bad rap right there. And it just, you know what? I'm sorry, though, but a lot of these guys, this movie... That's not going to stop watching me football. Will Smith, no.
No, I don't think it's going to stop.
Heck to the no. I mean, with all these concussions. You kidding me?
I don't think it's going to stop anybody from watching the sport. However, I do think the more and more people who not just see this movie Concussion, but as, the tests improve as far as, what's the word I'm looking for? Brain...
brain syndrome?
No, like neurology tests and all that stuff. As long as those tests improve and we keep seeing the results of repeated blows to the head and causing CTE in the sport, it's going to naturally cause a decline in it. While the entertainment value, people are, of course, they're going to want to watch football. NFL is king in this country.
Oh, yeah.
But I don't know. It's just I wouldn't worry so much about people not watching it now, but down the line, 20, 30 years from now, it might be an issue just because people don't want to. I mean, take a look at, we could potentially not have Calvin Johnson in the league anymore next year. Could be retiring at 31. That's crazy to think about. You know, this is an all-star talent who
Only
should
9 years in the league, though, by the way.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, the league average is 2 years, but, you know, you don't really see a guy of that caliber just take a step back from the league because he just wants to conserve his life after football. And I think we're going to start seeing that kind of pattern as we move forward.
Yeah, and it's just a shame right now. You know, I mean, it is what it is, though. I mean, it's just been slowly, just been an eye-opener for, the last, 5+ years right now. And, like I said, I truly believe what's happening now, it's transpiraling in other sports right now. I mean, we're in baseball. I mean, it rarely happens, though, but when you got, a runner coming at home plate right now, now they want to, outlaw, the takeout slides, at home plate, though. And one of the famous ones, I think, was Pete Rose, I think, back in one of the 1970s All-Star games, where he did take out slide on an American League catcher, and that, sideline him. I don't know if that, for the rest of the season or what, but it was, some big hit right there. Use it as an example. You know, and it just, like I said, though, I mean, I think little by little, it's it's bringing a lot of attention to other people right now, in sports. You know, where it be, equipment needing to be upgraded or, and that's the thing where it gets. But, anyway, back to UFC right now. Before we got, the last, 5 minutes here before we close out here. Again, Alex, if you don't mind, before we close out for the evening, tell them where they can find you at again.
You can find me on Twitter at _Xander Morgan. You can always listen to us on Thursdays from 2 to 4 p.m. on Across the Board with TJ the DJ, myself, and Hannah Yatzka. We take you across the board, all sports. And then, of course, on Saturdays, you can always catch Charles and myself and our wonderful producer, Sydney Brown, on the Sid Next Show, Saturdays 2 to 4 p.m. on ChicagolandSportsRadio.com.
Yeah. And then also you can find me at Hitman083. And then on Instagram, 08Prodigy09, that's all caps. And if you want to look me up on Facebook, Charles John Ritchie, RICHEY. Have a blast co-hosting these guys' show on Saturday, by the way. And then I'm also, you can hear me once in a blue moon on the D and Davis show. So I'll be shadowing these guys right here. So, but anyway, just before we close out, though, I want to just deep in Conor McGregor right now, who's actually the new featherweight king right now of the UFC, wants to get 3 belts in multiple weight divisions in the sport. He wants to achieve this by year's end. Right now he's going after the lightweight championship, and there's only been a few guys in the history of the sport that's able to win 2 different championships in different weight classes, but it was on separate times, though, not at the same time, though. The very first one to do it, from my memory, was Randy the Natural Couture right there, who started off as a heavyweight. He was a heavyweight champion at one time, lost it down the road, and then he eventually dropped down to light heavyweight, though. I guess he was probably getting too small to fight or just slowing down at the heavyweight. Actually won the light heavyweight championship from T. Ortiz, bad boy, after he stopped Chuck the Iceman Liddell for the interim championship. And then he once again becomes the heavyweight champion back in 2007. The other guy was BJ the Prodigy Penn right there, who's both a lightweight champion later on in his career, but at one time he was also the welterweight champion. He also beat arguably one of the greatest welterweight wrestlers in the MMA division, Matt Hughes right there.
Is that your namesake? Is that where you get the Prodigy from, BJ Penn?
I guess so, yeah. I heard from there. I figured why not try it, though. I want to break into this business. We all want to learn, though. I mean, I know you're excelling at your craft, and I still got a ways to go at mine, though, but it's like I said, it's like an adventure, like life is, though. You want to learn, you want to dig up, you want to commit, you want to sacrifice, you want to manage with that journey wherever you go. Like Jimmy Johnson, the old coach of the Cowboys, would say, You know, like if you want to have success, remember it comes with a price right there to a degree right there, and I'm willing to pay that little price right there for that.
Absolutely.
And then, you know, like I said though, the other guy too was Frankie Edgar, who was a lightweight champion, and no, I think he was just a lightweight champion. Scratch that. No, but anyway, like I said, McGregor, he's looking to like insanely like step up to the plate and like have 3 belts simultaneously. But he's got to go through Rafael Dos Anjos first on March at UFC 197 right now. And in the press conference right there, he's saying like, you know, like this is supposed to be a super fight. Where is my bleeping belt right there? You know, and Mauricio Verdun, who's the current heavyweight champion, took a little bit of offense because McGregor just constantly kept cutting this guy off right here. And, you know, he trains with Rafael. And he said, like, you know, Rafael's like my little brother. I train with every day. When you have a fight with my friend, you have a fight with me, too. It's family. You say something bad, you pay for this for sure. He said he wouldn't have been, like, hesitant to, like, come reach over for the wire and, like, slap this guy right here. Well, anyway, folks, it's getting ready to wrap up, close for a time. I'd like to thank Xander Morgan for coming on here tonight. Thank you, bud, though. You definitely made a nice Monday night, though, coming out here.
Oh, yeah, man. No problem. Thanks for having me. Anytime. Keep it right here. Got Gabe Salgado coming up. I'm sure he's got some great stuff for you.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Gabe right there. I guess I could say it right now for me starting off. Gabe the Babe right there. Respect for him, though. I mean, I know it was kind of like a little short-lived, though, but at the same time, though, too, I thank him. He was very humble, and I just want to wish everybody a good night, though. Be careful in that rain traveling going home. Stay warm, and the show that keeps you primed all the time. I'm Charles the Prodigy Richie, and with me,
Xander Morgan. Y'all have a good night.
You too, guys. Take it all.
You don't have to go home, but you can't stay.